Now, on News Talk Radio 710 WOR, this is the Joan Hamburg Show with guest host Steve Adubato.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Steve Adubato sitting in for the legendary, the one and only Joan Hamburg. It is my honor and my pleasure to be here on WOR 710, the best talk radio station in the country. For the next 2 hours, we're going to have an interesting conversation about a range of issues as our country is about to, looks like to me, I don't know what war is. If you have a strategical airstrike, is that not war? Boots on the ground, is that the only way you define war? All I know is that Congress is now have the hot potato because the president said, I'm not doing this alone. The president said, you better come along with me. But if you don't, I'll do it anyway. So there is a vote being taken in Congress. As we speak, the debate is raging in Congress. So the question is, what do you think we should be doing in Syria with the information we have? The number is 1-800-321-8828, 1-800-321-8828. Steve Adubato. For those of you who don't know me real quick, I don't know why I do this every time I'm just, as a way of background, I'm a broadcaster primarily with WNET. That's the PBS station here in New York, and also seen on NJTV, the public television station in New Jersey. I write for the Star Ledger, a Sunday news column, and I do commentary on bunch of commercial stations, but mostly I'm a broadcaster. It's what I do. And when I'm here at WOR, I love being here because the audience is absolutely great. So I ask you to pick up the phone and call 1-800-321-8828. Hey, listen, before we get into the serious situation, Natalie, our terrific producer who works with Joan every day, could we start with this, with the shy and retiring Anthony Weiner, who no one forced him to get into this mayoralty. No one said he had to run. No one said that he should move from obscurity and the embarrassment that he was on Twitter to this campaign. But he went out there, he campaigned, and yesterday he ran into someone who heckled him and said he was, quote, married to an Arab. You know, the woman he's married to is a former top aide to Hillary Clinton. And let's just say that Anthony Weiner's temper got the best of him. Let's run the clip.
Don't use language disgusting things. You have a nerve to walk around in public.
You're a perfect person?
I'm not
You're my
perfect.
judge?
But I
You're my judge? What rabbi taught you that?
I didn't do it.
What rabbi taught you that you're my judge?
You're fine. You talk
Thank
to
you.
God and
Thank
work
you.
out your problems, but stay out of the public eye.
Woo! So it happened in Brooklyn. It was in Borough Park. It was in a bakery, and a gentleman who was Jewish wearing a yarmulke. You see this, it's in all the newspapers right now. He said that you are disgusting. You're married to an Arab. He said, this is interesting, when he called him that nasty word, can I say that word on the air? The S word? No, I'm not going to say it. Called him a disgusting word. Weiner's great comeback is, takes one to know one. So he's admitting that he is. That's great, Anthony Weiner. But, you know, here's the question I want to ask everyone right now as you pick up the phone at 800-321-8828, I'll get it right, 800-321-8828. Here's the question I want to ask everyone. Did Anthony Weiner bring this on himself? Did he bring it on himself by going out there, announcing his candidacy, knowing that he had tweeted these disgraceful, embarrassing pictures of himself, and then decided he would run for mayor? And did his wife, Huma, did she bring it on, Nat, by actually saying, you know what, he's a great candidate, he's a great husband, we'll work out our stuff in private, but I'm out there supporting him. Now, she's not a naive person politically. She's former top aide to Hillary Clinton. She may, in fact, be a top person to Hillary Clinton if Hillary runs in 2016, so she knows politics. Did the Weiners bring this on themselves? He had to know this was coming. Listen, but when a guy starts attacking your wife and her ethnicity, does Anthony Weiner then, in turn, regardless of what a jerk he may be, does he have a right to protect? Does he have a responsibility to protect his wife and her honor by coming after this guy? The number is 800-321-8828. 800-321-8828. Steve Adubato in for Joan Hamburg. That is the number. Interesting. Let's go to Mitchell over in my home state, New Jersey. Hey, Mitchell, how you doing? Steve Adubato here.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great.
My comment, I don't have much to say about Anthony Weiner. I think he got in because he had a lot of campaign funds that he was going to lose if he didn't take the shot.
Couple $1 million.
Yeah, other than that, I think it's a lost cause from the get-go. Anyway, as far as Syria goes, I am basically supportive of what the president is endeavoring to do. I don't think it's going to remove Assad, but I think even if you can strategically weaken some of their military infrastructure and their chemical producing infrastructure with an attack, that is a positive thing. I think it will send a message to him, and I think it may help some of the rebel forces gain an upper hand. And, you know, how that all works out in the end remains to be seen. But I think that this is an atrocity, and I think that because this area is such a hot spot and because it's so unstable and it has so much geopolitical importance to us and the world, we need to have some kind of response. It's not working out the way he had hoped or the way all of us would hope, where it would be an international response. And obviously there's a lot of reluctance based on our prior activities, and we're using that to inform ourselves of how we should act now. But looking at this act in isolation, I think it does make some sense.
Mitchell, real quick, let me do this because I want to plug the fact that Congressman Peter King, a good friend from here in New York, who is serving his 11th term in Congress, who knows more about intelligence matters than most in this country, will be joining us at 11:35 here on WOR. If you could ask Peter King, who has spoken out on this issue of Syria, one question, what would it be?
I'd like to know more of the nuances and as much information as I could that definitively pinpoints the chemical weapons attacks to Assad.
Got it. Mitchell, I want to thank you for calling. Let's head back over to here in Manhattan. Steve Adubato here in for Joan Hamburg. The number is 800-321-8828. 800-321-8828. We'll be taking your calls. Listen, it could be about the Anthony Weiner situation, losing his temper. Listen, there's going to be a new mayor in New York City. Likely not going to be Anthony Weiner. Bill de Blasio's got a huge lead. He may not even have to go through a runoff on the Democratic side. Republicans have some strong candidates, too. But right now, Weiner got in this crazy situation. He's news because he's out of control sometimes. Or you can talk about Syria, either one. Let's go to Manhattan. We have Kay. Kay, how you doing? Steve Adubato here. What do you have?
My answer to your question is yes, I felt that he was right in defending his wife. I didn't. It wasn't right for that man to say that. And frankly, I'm a little sick about hearing it. I mean, some people...
What's the it?
I'm sick about hearing about the Weiner jokes and going on and on. The guy's running. People say that I didn't listen to the debate, but people said that during the last Democratic debate he made some good points. And I think one thing that's desperately needed in these debates is to talk about issues and about real things.
Let me ask you this, Kay. Say he makes a lot of sense in debates. Say he's logical and smart, and a lot of people say he is. Say he knows the issues, and a lot of people say he does. Does the messenger matter to you, Kay? Meaning the fact that it's Anthony Weiner saying it, and the fact that he continued to send these tweets even after he left Congress, even after he said he was going to stop doing these insane things. Does the messenger matter to you? Meaning, do you lose credibility when you do those things, even if you're really smart about matters affecting the city and the state and politics? And just because it's Anthony Weiner, on some level, is he just lost credibility?
I understand what you're saying, but I think in the city, in the position it's in right now...
Why, is he the only one who can say these things? Is he the one?
No, but the facts, every time, when these issues are brought up, okay, they need to be discussed. What? Not that we constantly go back to texting and sexting, and
he did it.
Are awfully sick of it.
But Kay, I don't want to argue the issue other than to say, listen, he's not the only candidate. There are other candidates, and here's my question. Once he got into it, we are in a public situation where we in the media, where the public can only pay attention to so many things. Anthony Weiner is known for this, and he continued to do it after he said, I'm sorry. Here's my question. didn't he and his wife, didn't they bring this on themselves?
They did, but this is a free country, and he has the right to run.
Sure,
Okay?
he does, but then you take what comes with it.
He is taking what comes with it. But
Okay.
as far as defending his wife, the man was right.
I agree on that part. But by the way, I agree that he should be defending his wife, but I also will say that he brought this on his wife, and they brought it on themselves, so it's a tricky issue. But thank you so much, Kay. Let's go. Beautiful Stanhope, New Jersey. We go to Andrew. Hey, Andrew, Steve Adubato here for the great Joan Hamburg. How you doing, Andrew?
Good. You're a good man. I met you 3 times, twice at the North Museum, and once you worked with Teen Arts Group, I think it was, and you were real supportive working with the teenagers, encouraging. But what I want to say is that if you have Peter King, can you ask him about the side? Like we know Assad, but who is on the other side? Because in the 1980s, we backed Saddam Hussein, so that's one of the reasons why I'm afraid to get involved, because it could be two, villains on both sides. And also the big brother. I understand.
Well, back up, Andrew. Are you talking about the fact that some argue that one of the reasons this action, whether someone wants to call it an act of war or not, the fact that the president is calling for strategic airstrikes, limited, if you will, are you concerned that if, in fact, the Assad regime is taken out, that, in fact, it is Al-Qaeda that is waiting in the wings?
Exactly. It might be another group that's just as twisted, just as evil, just like with Saddam Hussein. We backed him, and obviously he was a monster. And I understand that we're the big brother, and that's a good thing. But as big brother, sometimes you have to let the little brother fight his own fight. And Menendez in New Jersey was saying it's good that the authority, that they're going to vote for authority to use force. But I say it's the opposite. Like, that gives the message to the other countries that they don't have to fight their own battles. They don't have to build their militaries. They can piggyback off ours. But thanks. And I love Anthony Weiner because he reminds me of a little dog that will fight a big dog, even to the death.
Listen, Andrew, I hear you, and I appreciate you calling. And by the way, for folks who don't know Stanhope, New Jersey, it is a gorgeous place. Thanks, Andrew. Boy, I tell you, the phones are lit up. People want to talk about Anthony Weiner, but they also want to talk about Syria. The number is 800-321-8828. 800-321-8828. Joan is taking a well-deserved day off. Steve Adubato here. Let's go to Dan out on the island, not Staten Island, but Long Island. Hey, how you doing? By the way, Dan, let me ask you, because I'm a Jersey Shore guy.
Good.
A lot of my friends, particularly those, all to my friends down the Jersey Shore, still recovering from Hurricane Sandy, and folks out on the island as well. Do you think that Long Island is nicer than the Jersey Shore?
Well, I'm from Long Island, so of course I'm going to have to say it's a little bit nicer.
Are you actually calling from inside the Holland Tunnel without a car?
No, not quite. But
okay.
Hey, I wanted to make a very interesting point about Anthony Weiner.
Go for it.
He's running for public office, and he seems to be shocked that
Got it. Let's go Jonathan over in also out Long Island has something to say about Anthony Weiner. Now, Jonathan, let me ask you this. You told Natalie, our producer, that Weiner walked right into this?
Yeah. Hi, Steve. I'm from Long Island, as you know, and I am.
You're 11 years old.
Yeah, and I know that may be shocking, but I just wanted to say really quick before I went into what I had to say, that my dad, he listens to you literally all day long, and he'll watch the news every single day and read the newspaper. And sometimes my mom and I, it'll drive us nuts, but then I decided, I actually might be interested in this. So then I started to actually listen to it and pay attention. And then when this came up and I heard you talking about it, because you just happened to have the radio on, I had to call with my opinion. And this is the first time I've ever been on the radio, so this is extremely exciting. But, yeah, so my opinion personally is that when you were talking about what happened at that deli, or the bakery, actually,
in Brooklyn, yeah.
What?
In Brooklyn.
Yes. I believe that Anthony did walk into it because, and like you were saying before, my response to your other question was that, yes, as how do I put this? As much power as he may have, or as smart as somebody may be, I believe that as soon as you do that, it's the wrong decision. You chose that, and you lose your credibility.
Okay.
Now, in what happened in that bakery, I do not believe that.
Jonathan, let me do this. Jonathan, even though you're 11, I think you know about commercials. We're right up against a commercial. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to finish up, Jonathan.
Okay, really quick, okay. Well, I don't believe that the other guy had the right to, disrespect his family, and I do believe that Anthony did have the right to defend his family.
Well said, Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan, do us a favor. Stay tuned, because a little bit later on, we're going to be talking about this Miley Cyrus situation and the fact that she's out of control. Forget about Anthony Weiner, that Miley Cyrus is out of control. Not just with her dancing on the VMAs, but some of her tweets, which are just off the wall. And she used to be Hannah Montana, right, Natalie? She was Hannah Montana.
She was Hannah Montana.
Wow.
Sweet little girl.
Back in the day. I give Jonathan a lot of credit for picking up the phone and calling at 11. So you do the same thing, 1-800-321-8828. Steve Adubato. Be right back right after this.
It's the Joan Hamburg Show on WOR. Sitting in for Joan today, Steve Adubato.
Got a great show going already. Started at 12. We're going to 2 o'clock. The number is 800-321-8828. 800-321-8828. Steve Adubato here. Up against a break here, because at 12:35 we're going to have Congressman Peter King, who is one of the most important members of the House of Representatives, who will be speaking out on the issue of Syria. And the president has asked, he could do this on his own, but the president wants Congress to weigh in here. And Peter King is going to weigh in right here on WOR and tell folks what he is thinking the president should be doing, what we as a country should be doing about the Assad regime, about the 1,500 people allegedly killed by chemical weapons, the 400 children killed by chemical weapons, allegedly, according to the Obama administration, by the Assad regime, and whether in fact a tactical airstrike is the way to move forward or to not move forward at all. Real quick, we were talking about Anthony Weiner before. Let's put the Weiner thing to bed. Oh, God, I don't even like saying his name. Dimitri over here in Manhattan. Dimitri, Steve Adubato here. What do you have on Anthony Weiner? Your last call before we go to the break.
You got it, Steve. I'm the guy that found your cell phone at the Yankee game a couple months ago. So how you doing?
Oh, my God. This guy is such a good guy. I was at the Yankee game. We were there having a couple drinks in between innings. There was a rain delay. This guy is a great guy. Not many people would take the phone and get it to... I thank you, Dimitri.
Hey,
WR brings us together.
It does.
Would you have given Anthony Weiner his cell phone back?
Yeah, probably so.
Because you're a good guy, that's why.
I've seen him at a bar too.
Okay.
I'm from Bergen County, New Jersey. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Jones. I work in East Harlem, and Anthony Weiner should drop out of the race. But the dude with the yarmulke the day before Rosh Hashanah, using the S word in front of all those people, he should be ashamed of himself. That's ridiculous. I mean, I can't believe I don't know who this guy is, but if you don't want to vote for the guy, don't vote for the guy.
That's right.
And he showed up at that deli. He showed up at that bakery that day to meet the guy, and I just think that guy's really at fault.
What should Weiner have done? Should Weiner have walked away?
No, I think if you call something, say something about somebody's wife, which I heard him say that, and I saw that on that blog. Yeah, I mean, what's the difference where she's from, who she's from? But Anthony Weiner's egotistical narcissism, having to have his own God now. Now he has his own God that he prays to because it's only his God. And that's the other thing that concerns me is Anthony's really just out of control. I mean, he should get out of the race, stop wasting everybody's time, and the press should stay off of him. Why is the press paying attention to this?
Well, and Dimitri, the answer to that is because it's like, I hate to use this expression, but it is like watching a car wreck on the side of the road. We sometimes can't divert our eyes. It is just too it's just too weird. It's too crazy, and that for a lot of us, from a political point of view, Anthony Weiner is, to me, like a car wreck in a political campaign, and we don't divert our eyes away. We watch it, and we probably shouldn't. But by the way, again, thank you, Dimitri, for bringing back my cell phone. Appreciate it, buddy.
No problem, man. Take it easy, guys. Take it.
That's a good guy. You go to a Yankee game and you lose your cell phone, particularly with a picture of your little daughter Olivia, who's turning 3 in just a few days. She's right on the. She's the screensaver, right? Imagine that, Nat. And you go back and you look for your phone and you can't find it at Yankee Stadium. And the guy goes, "Hey, you're Steve Adubato. I got your cell phone with 50,000 people at Yankee Stadium." And then the guy calls you when you're subbing for Joan here on WOR. The world's a great place. We'll be right back right after this.